we have got a lot here. My brain is full. What is the takeaway? I mean, it seems like communication with care providers, with your doctor, your pharmacist, making sure that you articulate the adverse drug reactions and events, the side effects, and giving everybody an opportunity to address those. That seems to be the punchline here. Am I hearing that correctly?
Ultimately, yeah. I mean, I think that, I've used the term in other podcasts, advocate for yourself. I just want to make clear what I mean by that. Mm-hmm. Advocating for yourself is not, walking into your doctor's office with a bunch of WebMD articles, and ready to like slam him with the information about why you don't want to go on this drug. First and foremost, what I mean by that term, not just related to this, but in general, is that you need to be honest and open. That's the primary message. Advocate for yourself in that you're having sexual side effects. Advocate for yourself that, I kind of didn't tell my doc this. I'm always missing that afternoon dose, but I don't want to tell on myself. Those kind of things. Just open up the lines of communication fully with your provider. That's the best way that they can treat you. And to balance that, when we hear it a lot in the pharmacy level. People ask me questions, and it's not in a way where they want information or want help, although that's certainly there. There's like a defiance. They believe this, and they're asking you in this way so that they can kind of win the argument.
Right.
And I'm just being honest, I can't imagine what prescribers see in those initial and follow-up visits. That is just not where you want to be with your provider. Ultimately, that's only going to hurt you. Within balance, that's what podcasts like this are for. It is important for you to know things about the meds you're on. If you are able and willing to research some of the meds you're on and the conditions you're on, I do feel that's very important. That said, you're back to the first point. Your approach with your provider, or whenever you are calling that pharmacist for a question, is so critical, because when you present defiantly, remember at the end of the day, especially even with your doctor, you're still just dealing with a human being.
Yeah.
Had 3 of these tough conversations in a row. You're hammering them again. What kind of are you going to get to the roots of the issue of these concerns? So I know that's more on the philosophical end, but at the end of the day, there's not enough examples we can go over that's necessarily going to hit what you may encounter, or what your elderly mother may encounter,
right,
as you move forward. So I think that is the most key aspect here. And hey, you say, hey, I've tried that. I really did try to talk to my doctor. They're not listening to me. If as long as you're comfortable that your approach has been genuine with respect for what they do know, but also still being very open about your concerns and about where you are with things. Changing doctors is not the end of the world, but make sure that you are accepting your role in that communication, that maybe you're not getting the answer you want, and maybe you wanted pulled off that drug at all costs. Hear why, hear the issues. Again, it could be something back to the Jardians thing, just off the top of my head. Well, this drug is costing my mother, $50 more a month than the other one. They got this yeast infection. I'm done with this drug. This drug is bad. Look what's happening there. I want $5 glipizide. Well, now you've just potentially put your family member at an increased risk for hypoglycemia. I'm not saying it's going to occur, but again, those are things that you just don't know, and that you're not going to pull up from a quick WebMD article or from a hot take Facebook post that says, Jardians, look at the yeast infections and these issues. Do you know what I mean? I just think that it's, again, not groundbreaking stuff. Talk to your doctor. I get it, but it's just I'm trying to frame this in a way that you can take no matter what individual things you agreed with or related to or potentially will see in your life, how you can make it kind of fit for you.
Remember that we're all on the same team. We're all working toward the same goal of being healthier, and that person is not your enemy.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of middle ground here. If you are having side effects with a medication, maybe the dose can be lowered. Maybe there are other classes. There's so many in-betweens that can occur that will only be arisen, A, if you're being honest about that sexual side effect, A, if you're being honest that you're only taking your SSRI 3 or 4 times a week.
Right.
Because again, back to the dose increase thing, I see it with one prescriber who does a lot of like custom thyroids in our area, that I'll see an increased dose, but then I'll look at this patient's history, and over the last 5 months, they've refilled it 2 or 3 times. Are they telling him that they're not taking it? Not really. That he's just looking at a blood level, time to go up a little bit. So again, just trying to put a real world kind of link here to what can occur if you're not being open, honest, and even in some cases telling on yourself.
Fair enough.